Subtle skills, big results.
Welcome to the Ninja Selling Podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Ninja Selling Podcast. I am Rob Nelson, and Larry Kendall, thank you for being here today. I'm excited to chat with you because we are going to take 50 years and combine it into about 10 minutes, and then look forward 50 years and spend 10 more minutes on that. So thanks for having 100 years worth of conversations with me, Larry.
Thanks for the invitation.
Absolutely.
Happy to be here.
All right. Tell us about the last 50 years. And what I mean by that is it's been 50 years since you founded the group Real Estate. And in so many ways, the group is Ninja. The operating philosophies, the organizational structure, much of what you learned or developed at the group became Ninja Selling. And I want you to tell us a little bit about that. What did you start with? What did you evolve into? And how did that become Ninja?
Sure, you bet. Well, the group has become, or was it still is, the laboratory for Ninja. So we would try stuff. If it worked, we later on began to teach it. So I think it started from the very beginning, 50 years ago. We were absolutely obsessed with results. And we measured everything. We wanted to sell more houses, sell them easier, make it easier for the clients, make it easier for the realtors. That was our obsession. What can we do to accomplish that, to get results for people? We quickly realized that there's really two parts to the business. There's the doing the business, and then there's generating the business. And on the doing the business, we began to document, okay, what works as far as getting listings sold, getting them priced right, closing on time with our transactions. That evolved into the buyer process and the seller process on the doing the business side. And I think we have a process that works, that gets results. And then on the generating the business side, what generates business? And through a lot of trial and error over a period of years, we developed the Ninja 9.
One of the most magical things about this is what you just said. Through a lot of trial and error, we developed a proven system so that you don't have to trial and error this yourself. Just execute the Ninja 9. It is proven. So what became the group's trial and error distilled itself into what is Ninja Selling today. But the core obsession with results is the consistent theme here.
Yes.
The group is still obsessed with results. They're a cutting-edge real estate company in many ways. Yeah. And Ninja's obsessed with results. Tell us about our product is results.
So we believe that people, they don't really want training. What they want is results. So we say at Ninja, our product is results. We have the training designed to help you get the results. But we know that our system works. It's not a question of whether the system works. It's fairly well documented with a lot of realtors, a lot of ninjas, a lot of companies. We can prove that our system works. TSW, the system works. The only question is really whether you will work the system. And that's where most of our energy now is going into how do we help people? They know what to do. They know how to do it. But how do we keep them focused so that they do the work, get the results?
The great Mike Staver has said this to me many, many times. The most expensive gap in our business is the space between knowing and doing. And It's probably the most expensive gap in our life.
Yeah, most people know how to sell better than they're selling.
Yes, yes. So, Larry, tell me, if the product is results, what is the recipe for results at Ninja?
Well, number one, having a system that works. We have that. Marshall Goldsmith, who's written a number of books and done quite a bit of research, his research shows that if you have a system that works, about 20% of the people, when they're introduced to the system, they'll work the system and it'll work for them. About 80% need help. They don't have the discipline, or they get distracted, or something happens and they need help. We see this in our Ninja installations. 4 days of installation, we'll see people come out there, they'll write their evaluations, they'll come up to me personally and they'll say, this is transformational, it's life-changing. It's going to change my life, it's going to change my business. And for many of them, it does. But for some of them, and probably according to Marshall's research, 80% of them go back to the office and Monday morning, life happens. And they're back in their old patterns and they remember Ninja. Maybe they're adopting parts of it, but they're getting results. They're just not getting transformational results that they could get if they were more disciplined. So they need help. 80% need help. So then what we noticed was the people who were rolling out of the installation into what we call Ninja 90 which is a 12-week boot camp primarily around generating the business, they started to get the real results consistently over time. And we've documented that. We have a number of studies on that, companies. We track everybody through that process. They're getting the results. And so we said, well, that's the key to it then, is maybe we should reorganize the Ninja installation and combine it with the Ninja 90. So that's what we've done.
Let's talk a little bit about Ninja 90. It spun out of a series of conversations that we had at the Guide Camp, which is where we gather all of the Ninja instructors and coaches during the summer. And we had a mastermind effect in the room talking about where do results come from. It's funny that you said the group is obsessed with results, or they were founded on the obsession with results, because Ninja is too. And we were sitting here saying, so many people are going to the Ninja installation and giving us rave reviews. We love what they have to say, but they're really saying three things consistently. And it's, I love this, I want this, I don't know what to do next. And so if you've been to the Ninja installation, you know there's a green sheet. And one of the things about the green sheet is it's designed to be your one-page action plan of things that you want to do from the installation. And we realized that although people have a green sheet, they need somebody to come beside them and work through that green sheet. And the market dynamics and just the change that's happened in the industry in the last few years has really given us proof that for most people, generating business is the side of the business where they need the most help today. So could you describe for us what Ninja 90 is from the standpoint of somebody who's just come out of a Ninja installation?
Well, they've come out of the Ninja installation and they've been introduced to the Ninja 9. 9 success habits. 5 of them are daily habits. Take 15 to 30 minutes, preferably in the morning, first thing. And then 4 weekly habits that take maybe 2 to 4 hours a week. They know that, and we recommend that they time block on their calendar. They become disciplined with the Ninja 9. Ninja 90 simply is Ninja 9 on steroids. It's a total focus for 12 weeks on those success habits that generate the business. And you're absolutely right. The biggest challenge for most people is not, we can teach them how to do the business, how to list a house, how to write a contract, how to negotiate a contract. That part of doing the business is pretty easy. The industry struggles with the other part of it, which is the generating the business. We know that Ninja 9 is the key to that, and Ninja 90 is the key to the discipline of doing the Ninja 9.
The coolest thing about Ninja 90 is that it is not just a reteaching of the Ninja 9, but in all actuality, we start in the middle of the Ninja 9 with your 50 live conversations. We call them Ford interviews.
Yeah. Ninja habit number 8.
It's very much the traditional prospecting part of business. You have to be in flow with people, but instead of pitching people, we ask questions about things that are going on in their life and look for change. But that is really the driver of all things, and it's the theme throughout all of Ninja 90. And so instead of just sitting there and saying, hey, we're going to teach you the Ninja 9 again, we actually start to do the Ninja 9 in a way that's very integrated, where our weekly activities fill our daily schedule, and suddenly you find that the Ninja 9 isn't really 9 things, it's just one.
Well, that comes back to the one thing. In my 53 years in real estate and 50 years at our company, over those years of training thousands of real estate agents, I ask them, what's the one thing that most drives your business? If we were to take away everything that you have, you could only hold on to one thing. What's that one thing? And for decades, it has been, how many Ford conversations do I have each week? How many did I have today? At the end of the day, when I look back on my day, how would I measure a great day? Well, by how many Ford conversations I had. So that's Ninja habit number 8. And since that's the number one thing, that's where we start with Ninja 90. Let's get going here on the most important thing that you can do to generate business is knowing how to ask questions and knowing how to be a good listener.
So Larry, we started Ninja 90 in late 2024, and we have had about 40 groups go through Ninja 90. Some of those groups have done a spectacular job of documenting the results that they had. Where Ninja 90 bridged the gap between new knowledge at an installation and actual results in their business. Walk us through some of the results that we've seen from Ninja 90, especially inside of the group.
Well, we decided this year, at the start of the year, to launch a Ninja 90 group within the group. And we asked who would like to go through. We had 78 what we call partners at the group, sales partners, sign up for Ninja 90. What that is they meet once a week with a Ninja guide. The guide was Bob Sutton, Ninja Bob. I walked them through that process. We also added a weekly mastermind where they could role play and do some things. And interestingly, of that 78, all of them had one thing in common. They had all been through the Ninja installation. And they had a lot of things that were not in common. Quite a number of them were rookies. And we had two of our very top producers that are producing at over $1 million a year GCI. So it was a diverse group, very diverse, but they had all had the commonality. They'd been through the Ninja installation. They knew what Ninja was and how to do it. They just needed the discipline to do it. So we launched the first week in January. In the first quarter of the year, they ended up outperforming the rest of the company that didn't go through the Ninja 90 by 33%. They were also about 55% ahead of the previous year over year in their production. This was in a market that was down 6.7%. Our market had a pretty tough first quarter. The market's down 6.7%. The 78 people who went through Ninja 90 were up 55%.
All right. So to summarize to this point, what we found is that the results that Ninja is known for are a combination of learning the system and applying that knowledge. And that most people either want or need somebody to come beside them or join a group of people who are aligned around, this is the way I want to do things, but I need a hand in being consistent in implementing the knowledge that I now have. And so we did something about this. The evidence was so compelling. What did we decide to do?
Well, based on that, we decided that we needed to add Ninja 90 to our formula in our training. And if our training is results, we are, again, obsessed with helping our clients, our Ninja clients, get those results. So we reformulated the 4-day Ninja installation into 3 days. I think we cut some of we call it cut the fat. We cut a few things out, but I don't think it hurt the delivery of that at all. In fact, I think it streamlined some things, made it stronger. And then what we did was we added to it Ninja 90. So we took a 4-day experience into a 93-day. Actually, it's 12 weeks plus 3 days. Not just an experience, but a disciplined program that will get results. And we're seeing the results now. I'm very excited about the results that are happening.
The Ninja installation, which from its inception has been taught as a 4-day experiential workshop for over 15 years, is now going to become 3 days in a classroom, followed by 12 weeks of implementation support through Ninja 90. And what that looks like is you'll spend 3 full days in the classroom together, and then you'll be able to join a Ninja 90 group included in your tuition. So it's no longer a supplemental investment, but included in that tuition is 12 weeks of Ninja 90. The way Ninja 90 works is you will join a group and you meet via Zoom with between 50 and 70 other ninjas who are in most cases fresh out of an installation as well. And you are going to break down that knowledge that you have and turn it into action 1 week at a time. It's 1 hour per week, 12 weeks in a row.
You bet. And Rob, you mentioned it, but I'm going to emphasize it once again. In the old days, we had a 4-day class or 4-day experience. And then in addition, if you wanted to, you could sign up for Ninja 90. That was an additional tuition for the Ninja 90. What we've done is we've combined the two now, and it's all included in the same tuition price as the installation. So it's a great value. And I think not only is it a great value just from measuring the class, but the greater value is that you get the results.
Now, Ninja 90 is in some ways the middle space between attending a training and hiring a coach. I want to talk a little bit about the differences between those two relationships, because Obviously, we have training courses at Ninja and we offer coaching services at Ninja. How can joining a small group of people that still has a guide give you a taste for the level of results that our coaching clients have experienced, but also is in many ways more like a training program because it's scripted, it's not necessarily centric to you and your business? How does that work as a bridge for people that are considering coaching?
Yeah, I think the best example that I've heard is that the Ninja 90 is like joining an exercise class, and coaching is like hiring a personal trainer. And I've done both, by the way. I got involved in an exercise class. It was wonderful. The camaraderie, plus you get in shape, what you learn and so on. But I've also had a personal trainer and a personal coach, which then is customized for you, for your business, your particular set of maybe challenges. So I think they're very complementary, but that's the difference.
Yeah. Larry, we've had 15 years of the Ninja installation, 30 plus years of Ninja selling. We've had 120,000 installation graduates out of well over 1,000 installation courses that have been taught, and we still saw room for improvement. What does that say about Ninja, our commitment, our vision, and the future? Because we talked about the last 50 years, we talked about what's changing today, but what does this look like going forward?
Well, we're obsessed with results, and we're obsessed with finding ways to help our ninjas get better results. So we're always looking for ways to do that. The latest is, I think, the combination of the 3-day installation with Ninja 90. Going forward, we're working on some things. Rob, you can share more about this that are pretty phenomenal as far as some of the tools that we're going to provide the ninjas going forward to help them track their business, stay on track with their business, generate more business, and generate more referrals with each other as well.
Yeah, Larry, there's a lot of things that we're working on. And what's interesting about all of these things is they come down to the idea that lead measures are a predictor of our results.
Yes.
Walk us through that.
What I found about salespeople over the years is they're really great goal setters. They love to set goals. And that's good because I think that programs your mind. You need to be a goal setter. But what we also know is that goals are lag measures. So you don't know if you made the goal till it's at the end of the year. Did I make my goal? I had a listing goal or a gross commission income goal. By the time you find out if you've reached the goal, it's too late to change it. It's too late to do anything about it. So what we've learned is that the key to it is what's called lead measures. What are the activities that we can do today that will help us to achieve the goals? And what we found is those lead measures need to be, number one, very predictive. That's where we've spent a lot of time documenting the lead measures. And so I know if I do this, I get that particular result. Those lead measures need to be user-friendly. Ninja selling, Ninja 9 is very user-friendly. We're not outdoor knocking. We're not chasing internet leads. We're doing things that are smart, like Ninja Habit number 8, knowing how to ask good questions and listen. So it needs to be predictive. It needs to be user-friendly. It needs to be something that will give you a high return on investment of your time. Back when I first started in real estate, I started knocking on doors, and I was supposed to knock 100 doors a day. And what I found was I had to knock probably 300 to 400 to find 100 people home. It was a complete waste of time in my mind. It was not a high return on investment. It was not user-friendly. It was not particularly predictive. And so we have spent, I taught the first Ninja class October 10th, 1994. We had developed the system well before that at the group, so we knew Ninja 9 before that. So really for 40 or 50 years, we've been doing this. We know what works. We know what's predictive. We know what's user-friendly. And we know it'll give you a return on your investment. So that's where we are.
We're excited to unveil that starting in October, the Ninja installation will be a single investment that will include 3 days in a classroom learning through the experiential format of the installation, the entire Ninja selling system. So it still includes both parts 1 and part 2 of doing business. We cover the mindset, the skill set, the actions, both buyer and seller processes are condensed into 3 days. And then you immediately roll into a Ninja 90 group because, as you said, Our goal is to focus on the lead measures, the activities, and the scorecard to track those.
Yeah.
The results follow.
You know, Rob, one other thing I might just add, we talk about mindset, skill set, actions. So many people who have taken our Ninja installation have said to me, this was life-changing, or this changed my life, or this changed my family, or in some cases they said it saved their life, or it saved their marriage. And when you drill down, I say, okay, tell me more about that. It was that mindset piece. It was learning how to be a player, not a victim, learning how to focus on what you can control versus what you're concerned about, learning how to manage your emotional energy, learning how your brain works and how to, what you focus on expands. All of those pieces, so very important and so powerful for people. And that's the one area that I think when they walk out of the installation that they carry with them forward, that they don't backslide or have a problem with. That is life-changing for them. The challenge that they've typically had going forward has been more the lead generation or the business generation piece, the Ninja 9 piece. And now we've got a solution for that for them, which is called Ninja 90.
We are very eager to see what happens and hope you'll join us for an installation to experience the 3-day format with the Ninja 90 included. We think that the results are going to be compelling because the system does work.
Yes.
If you work the system. And our goal is to not send you out at the end of the installation saying, go work the system and trust that it works, but to say, we're here to come beside you when you get back into your business, hold your hand and get you step by step by step into the habit of doing Ninja.
Yeah, you got it.
Well, Larry, thank you so much for being here to announce this today, and we look forward to talking with you soon.
Great. Thank you.
If you enjoyed this episode, visit us at theninjasellingpodcast.com to learn more about ninja selling classes and coaching to get you started or further your journey on the ninja path.
Thank you for joining us. Now go have an incredible day.